Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, back doing Aether Revolt. It has been a little while since I've drafted this format, but we're back at it. This format's going to be ending soon, so let's get in a few more drafts before we are on to Amonkhet, shall we? So we've got Oath of Ajani in here, which is a powerful card. It's 2-color, so we could also take Enraged Giant, and it's probably Enraged Giant versus Scrounging Bandar for me. Both are great cards. Completely different archetypes. Usually I err towards the cheaper card. Enraged Giant is a fine finisher, though. I still think I like Bandar more. I'd rather just have the cheap thing that works in a bunch of archetypes. I mean, they're both good cards. So if they're both good cards, why not just take the cheaper one? That's the way I look at it. I do like Enraged Giant, though. But we're going to start it off with the Bandar here. Over the Oath, over the Enraged Giant. Okay, follow-up pick. Well, Aeronaut is very good. There's a Renegade Map, which is good for a Revolt deck alongside Scrounging Bandar, but you can take the Aeronaut. This card is quite strong. 5 mana, 4 power flyer with upside. Probably just want it. Green-white does have a Revolt deck. You can also do +1/+1 counter related stuff, so that's a fine archetype. And yeah, Airdrop Aeronaut is certainly stronger than any other card in here by quite a bit, so we'll take it. Okay, so now there's Narnum Renegade on color with us. We have Aether Chaser, Swooper, Prey Upon, Implement. Good cards in here, all around. I'd probably take the Prey Upon over the Renegade. Just get a pretty solid little removal spell. This is a good card too, though. I like the Implement. Yeah, all 3 of these green cards are great for our for a Revolt deck, of which our first 2 cards are good as well. Strongest card in here, maybe the Chaser, the Swooper, but Prey Upon's right up there. It's a great removal spell for 1 mana in green. So I think we probably just take Prey Upon. We're going to want some better bodies for it, but we'll get there. Okay. Now, we have Unbridled Growth, which is good. Strongest card in the pack. Nothing really, to be honest. None of these cards are particularly strong. Maybe the Foundry Hornet. Efficient Construction I've played. It's more of a build-around. It's not a fantastic build-around, but it is fun when you can make the deck work. And other than that, it's just a bunch of pretty mediocre cards. So we'll take the Unbridled Growth, which lets us potentially play 3-color as well. My favorite archetype in this format is Junk. Exquisite Archangel, yeah. This card's cool. I don't actually think it's that great. I mean, it's certainly fine. It's 7-drop that doesn't let you lose the game until this thing dies. But I would rather just have Druid of the Cowl here, because I love this card. But yeah, Exquisite Archangel, certainly a fun card, but I don't think it's that good. I'd much rather pay 5 mana for a 4-power flyer than 7 for a 5, even with the upside of it. So we'll go with Druid of the Cowl. There's also an Outland Boar in here. Probably splashable. It's not like the most exciting splash. Like, usually when I'm splashing, it's got to be a big fat rare, or it's got to be a removal spell that's very strong too. So that's some of the criteria I use. Invigorated Rampage is good. We could just take the Verdant Automaton, which is a playable card. Not terribly exciting, but nothing in here is super exciting. Couple good red cards. I think Rampage is a good finisher. I think Rampage is the strongest card in this pack. But, I mean, I can take it. I'm passing up a Verdant Automaton. This is good for the +1/+1 counter synergy cards. And it also can be used to make your improvised cards cheaper. We haven't really gotten any white. Alright, we'll take the Rampage. I think Verdant Automaton is whatever enough where I don't mind passing it, really. Okay, so now we're actually kind of devoid of good cards in here. Maybe I just take the Implement in case red's open, because it's also a Revolt enabler, rather. There's a Natural Obsolescence, which is main deckable. I think we can find better at some point. Like, I'm not super in need of it right now. And implements, the red implement is actually just fine. So we'll take that over to Foundry Assembler and Obsolescence. Okay, so now we have a Gear Smasher. There's Aid from the Cowl, which is a Revolt card. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's that great. I've played against it a couple times, and I was pretty unimpressed. Even though we do actually have some pretty decent enablers for it, right? We have the Unbridled Growth, the Implement, the Scrounging Bandar. But I guess Gear Smasher is a pretty unexciting card, too. We could just take the Solvent. Basically, Gear Smasher only works with, like, one card in our deck right now anyway. Not that that obviously couldn't change. It's also Alley Evasion, which is okay. We'll take the Solvent. I don't think it's a super exciting pick here, but nothing in that pack is exciting me all that much. Okay, I guess now we could take the Obsolescence. Conviction is a good Revolt enabler as well. But we'll take Obsolescence now over Wrangle, over Crawler, over Conviction, over the blue cards that are both. There's an Ice over, I guess, as well. Not worth splashing, but playable. We'll take the Obsolescence. Okay, so now we have Lifecraft Awakening. There's some good blue cards in here, and then a Ravenous Intruder. We can take the Awakening. This card is playable. We don't have a ton of gasoline for it yet, but it's fine. It's still early enough. It's green. It cuts green from the pack. We're definitely green at this point. I have enough good green cards where I want to make that happen. We're still sort of trying to establish our second color. Okay, Wielding a Welder Automaton is a good sign for red, I would say. This card is good. Welder Automaton is very good. Okay, we can take the Sailback. I'm fine with that. So definitely no white flowing from this pack. Take the Precise Strike. We're going to let someone have the Dispersal Technician because I think we're just going to fight. Basically, I think it's just worth our time fighting between red or white as our second color. Paradox Engine. I'm just going to check the price on it. I think last I checked it was like 2 tickets, which isn't a lot, but drafts are fairly cheap right now. This is 1.8 ticks, but let's see, if there's not something better, I guess I could consider it. But I'd probably rather have a Sweatworks Brawler from my deck if I'm in red. In white, we have Restoration Specialist. We don't have any enchantments yet. There's a Vengeful Rebel. I mean, there's some good cards outside of green-red. But I might just take 2 tickets, or I can take the Brawler. The Brawler looks good, though, because we have the Implement Automaton. We have cheap artifacts, so if you can curve into Sweatworks Brawler, it's very good. It is very good. Certainly going to make the deck. I mean, 3 mana, 3/3 Menace, if you can do it, is just very strong. Can put people away. Yeah, we probably do the Brawler here. So I'm going to pass 1.8 tickets for it. Call for Unity. You know, I actually love that card, but there's just a lot of good cards in here, actually. Revolutionary is very strong. We also have Aether Chaser and Scrounging Bandar and Implement of Ferocity. Like, all these cards are kind of what we want to do. I think at this point I'm ready to just let's commit. Because we saw the late Welder Automaton, pretty good sign for red. So, Revolutionary versus Bandar versus Chaser. This one's more color intensive. It does have Trample. And it gets that double effect. So, the effect is good with Scrounging Bandar. Very good with Scrounging Bandar. And maybe Lifecraft Awakening if we play that. Otherwise, 2 mana, 2 power, first strike might just be worth our time here. Or we can take the Scrounging Bandar to get more +1/+1 counter related stuff, which we do get rewarded for that in pack 3 as well, right? Because we have like the Judge. God, all of these cards are good. I think I'm actually going to go with the Revolutionary, and the only reason is it's uncommon, and that effect is, I've seen that effect be so good. So I probably just want another Welder Automaton over Frontline Rebel and Verdant Automaton. I like the Welder more than the Verdant. And then there's a Hope of Girapur in here as well, but we'll take Welder Automaton. So now we can get another crack at the Chaser. There's also yet another Scrounging Bandar and a Sweatworks Brawler, so a bunch of good cards once again. So this has First Strike. Does that mean it's better than Scrounging Bandar? Like I said, it really is more... Now that we have the Revolutionary, although this can give us, I guess, more energy too. I kind of feel like taking the Bandar over the Chaser. My main reason is we still seem to be more green oriented. So if I can make it so most of our early game is green, I feel like that might be better for us, but I don't know which one I like more. I mean, I guess Chaser can attack in more often. It also only has 1 toughness, which can be relevant. I'm going to take the Bandar. I'm just going to assume that we see one of the +1/+1 counter boosting cards out of either this pack or pack 3, which could help make Bandar quite a bit better, and it already synergizes well with the Revolutionary. So we can take the Enraged Giant now. We have cheap artifacts to power it out, plus we have the Druid of the Cowl. So, oh, there's a Scrap Trawler in here, which is also very good. I don't know if it's worth anything. It's only worth 13 cents, but it's a good card. It can, with lesser converted mana cost. So basically our automatons can get back a solvent or an implement, and our Trawler can get back all of our artifacts. That's not bad. I may still want the Giant because it's a big finisher, but maybe I just do want the Trawler. I'm going to take the Trawler and just assume that it's going to, because it's rare, it's going to do something for us. So we can take another implement. We can take Gaunty's Aether Heart, but I don't think this card is all that good outside of a very dedicated... I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be dedicated energy, right? Because we have artifacts. But I'd rather just have probably another implement. Or I could take the Verdant Automaton as well. More stuff to go with Malphus Revolutionary as well as Scrap Trawler, but we can just take Implement. Well, maybe we do need another creature. Alright, I'm going to take the Automaton. I wouldn't mind getting another creature here, I think. Ooh, got the Implement of Ferocity back. So I'd like to take this one. Well, there's also Tampering, Garrison, and Silkweaver Elite. All of these are good. I might still prefer the Implement. I do like the green Implement a lot. This is pretty awesome, though. We don't have a ton of evasion, so being able to just get by all their guys, like this could just win the game. Plus, I guess I like it more than Natural Obsolescence, too, for the versatility. But this is tough because I think the green Implement is very good in particular. I'm going to take the green Implement. That's tough. I just really do like that card a lot. So we can take another Unbridled Growth. We have a chance at Gear Smasher now with... Gear Smasher with Scrap Trawler is kind of cool. Sack an artifact, get another artifact back. So you get like double the effect out of it. I don't really need a second Unbridled Growth. And we're starting to get to the point where I probably have enough artifacts to finish someone off with Gear Smasher. Okay. I guess Lifecraft Awakening is looking a lot better now, too. Well, I already took one Verdant Automaton. So the second one's a lot less exciting, but Foundry Assembler is very unexciting as well, so I guess we'll take a second Automaton. At least they give you like a mana sink. Good blue cards in here. Nothing worth splashing, but I guess I'm not playing Reservoir Walker, right? So I guess we could take Trophy Mage. It's just, we're not going to splash it. Crackdown Construct. Huh. I mean, it works with our implements. It works with Automaton. All of our Automatons. I don't need a Frontline Rebel, really. But I guess I don't need a Crackdown Construct. Alright, we'll take the Assembler now. Take more Rebels. Construct. Alright. So our deck's removal-wise is a little bit light, right? We have Prey Upon, Invigorated Rampage, which isn't removal. It's kind of a trick. And Precise Strike, which we may have to play. God, Saheeli's Artistry is very strong. Blossoming Defense, though, is probably what we want. I guess Foundry Inspector is also good. Can play your implements for free. Foundry Inspector with Scrap Trawler is actually kind of cool, right? Can bring back stuff, play it for free, use it. It's kind of cool. I probably still prefer Blossoming Defense, though. This card is just really amazing at protecting your guys. Maybe Wheel the Wayward Giant. Salivating Gremlins actually looks playable in here, too. I do like the Foundry Inspector, but I'm going to take the defense over it. And whoever gets the Saheeli's Artistry is feeling pretty good. I think we'll wheel something we want from this pack, though. So we can get rid of the Demon of Dark Schemes. What? I wish. Might just want the Hunt the Weak here. I think that's probably what we're going to do. Get yet another removal spell. There's a Speedway Fanatic, a Weldfast Monitor, Iron League Steed. But we're going to take Hunt the Weak, get more removal. Let's get rid of this Prize Fighter construct. I think Foundry Assembler can go as well. I'm just looking at all the cards I'd prefer to not play. I guess I'd prefer to not play these Frontline Rebels if I can avoid it. I probably don't want double Automaton. We'll take Hunt the Weak here, though, for sure. Let's get some more removal. So Apprentice actually looks very good in here. There's also Prophetic Prism, but we don't need a splash. Aether Hub, which I don't really think we need either. So we'll take the Apprentice. It's an efficient little dude. And it looks like most of the time it's going to be a 2/3. Probably. So we've got Territorial Gorger, which we don't really need. Infiltrator, which I like, but maybe we don't need that either. I'd definitely play it over a Rebel. And then Construct, which is just another cheap guy, which is fine. I probably like the Infiltrator more. I mean, Construct is an artifact, which is good, but I like... We don't have any vehicles, sadly. That would have helped with the Infiltrator quite a bit. We still get a chance to maybe find one. So Gear Per Guide, which I actually kind of like, but here's our vehicle. So now we get Sky Skiff, which I love anyway. One of the better vehicles in the format. So we'll take it over Gear Per Guide pretty happily. And be fine with that. So now we could take Torch Gauntlet over the Puzzle Knot that we don't really need. We don't really need Torch Gauntlet either, but to be honest, since we're not a late game deck, we have one fatty basically. I probably am going to play the Lifecraft Awakening. This looks like a 16 land deck pretty easily too. So we'll take the Torch Gauntlet so our little dudes can beat down a little bit better. So Self-Assembler built to smash. Another Aether Hub. If I take the Self-Assembler, do we still have a chance? I mean, I also have the Foundry Assembler, so I could technically play both of those and still get some card advantage, which might not be the worst idea. And I don't think these lands are worth all that much anyway, right? Oh. Inspiring Vantage is worth 1.8. I'm going to take it just for that. I don't think I need the Self-Assembler that bad, or the Built to Smash, really. I could take the Built to Smash, but I'll take 1.8 ticks over something that's not exciting anyway. So we can take Creeping Mold here. I think it's a good sideboard card to have. I don't need the Sage or anything else out of this pack. I guess Workshop Assistant is kind of cool with Scrap Trawler, but I'll just take the Creeping Mold. So Appetite now, we get to play that over Natural Obsolescence. Oh, there is a Salivating Gremlins in here too, which is actually pretty good in this deck, but I'd rather have Appetite. Just deal with more things. All right, we get Speedway Fanatic now. I don't think we want to play it though, but we'll still take it. I guess I could take the Assistant now. Because Assistant is, like I said, good with Gear Smasher and Scrap Trawler. When this dies, you get back 2 artifacts, potentially. Alright, we'll take the Assistant, just because I'm not going to play the Fanatic. Or at least I don't think... I mean, it does have haste, but I'm not going to play it, I don't think. So Takedown. I don't think we need the Attune. We don't need energy, really. And Takedown, at least... we can get rid of these Rebels, probably. Although, you know, Rebels are actually kind of good with fight spells. 3-mana 3/3s are definitely good with fight. I might actually leave them because of that. We'll see. Like, I don't really need double Verdant Automaton. I don't think that's going to happen. We'll figure out some cuts. I don't know if I love Universal Solvent in here either. It's okay. Okay, Gear Per Guide. I can take the Cathartic Reunion, but I think we're actually going to play Gear Per Guide. It's a way to get past dudes and kill opponents. Perpetual Timepiece. All right. So we've got ourselves a little red-green beats deck. Like I said, I still think I like Torch Gauntlet in here only because it makes our little dudes much better beaters. We can go down to 14 creatures if I have to because we do have Sky Skiff, which is kind of like half a creature. So let's figure out some cuts, shall we? I think a Verdant Automaton, at least 1 can go. 2 seems excessive. The Welders will keep, though, because I think I just like them more. We're definitely going to keep all this. Lifecraft Awakening actually does seem pretty good in here. Because of, like, Sky Skiff and even the implements. I think we're going to cut the Unbridled Growth. We don't need to fix for anything, and we don't really need Revolt in here at all. Maybe double Rebel. Maybe the Rebels are kind of unnecessary. Well, I guess the question is, what are the good bodies we have for our Hunt the Week? Thankfully, Hunt the Week makes it so, like, your 2/3s. 2/3 is already a good body. It makes your 2/2s even better at fighting, though. And we do have Prey Upon, so we want some decent bodies here. Like, we do have a 3/3 already, but then we have a lot of 3/2s. 3/2 is actually kind of bad with fight. We do have a 3/3 of 5/4, so we have, like, 3... Apprentice can be a good fighter, too, so that's 4. But that's only, like, 4 guys, not counting the Rebels, on the surface. So the Rebels do serve a pretty big purpose with our 2 fight spells, but I don't like that you have to attack each turn with them. I think we'll just cut 1. We need to make some more cuts, though. Maybe Assistant's just too cute. Like, Assistant is cool, but it's really not that good. How many artifacts do we have for Gear Smasher? We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is fine. Our removal... Universal Solvent, Prey Upon, Defense, Strike, Rampage, sort of, Appetite, Hunt. So we can cut some removal. Let's cut maybe a Precise Strike. And I feel like the Solvent is probably going to go too. Solvent is more for a improvised deck, in my opinion. I mean, you can certainly play it outside of that. It still deals with anything, but I'm personally... I mean, I guess it's cool with... It is pretty cool with Trawler. I'm just not in love with it in this deck. Just seems a bit expensive and not quite useful enough. So I think Solvent's going to go. We still have 8 artifacts, which is probably bare minimum I'd want for Lifecraft Awakening. What are the good targets we have for Awakening? Well, the nice thing is you can do it to any of your artifacts, right? It doesn't have to be. So it is actually a pretty good mana sink. It's actually pretty cool on the implements too. Make it a huge creature, and even if it dies, you draw a card anyway. So Torch Gauntlet, I still kind of stand by, is important in this deck solely because our guys are little. So making them real threats, making any of your 2-power guys real threats is actually just really nice to have in a deck like this. So we do have to make one more cut. And it can be a creature. So I could cut the Rebel. Like I said, the Rebel is good because of fight spells, but we have buffs too. Basically, I'm keeping the why am I keeping the Implement? I'm keeping the Implement because it's good with Apprentice. It's good with Trawler. It's good with Gear Smasher. It's good with Lifecraft Awakening. It's good with Brawler. That's a good amount of synergy where it's probably worth just playing. Maybe we just cut the Rebel. I don't like being forced to attack. And we can still push damage through via Torch Gauntlet or Gear Per Guide. Or Sky Skiff with Infiltrator or anything else, or Menace. Or Fatty or Awakening, so... Okay. Pretty good curve. Not a extremely impressive deck by any means, but I think we're pretty efficient. We didn't get an Armorcraft Judge. I think that really would have added just a lot to this deck. But we're not super color intensive either, which is nice. And we have some decent sideboard options too, right? Creeping Mold, Obsolescence, Takedown. So we can deal with flyers, we can deal with more artifacts, more enchantment-based stuff. We already are main decking the Appetite, which is really nice to have as well. I guess Solvent if there's something we can't deal with, like a Planeswalker. So, alright, let's add some land. I'd much rather do 9-7. But we do want to play Apprentice on turn 1. We only have one double green. I mean, we could pretty easily do 8-8, and I don't think it would hurt us too much. Let me look at our curve color-wise again. I mean, the vast majority of our stuff does require green early. But we do want to play... I mean, playing that Apprentice on turn 1 is also very important. This card wants to get some points of damage in right away. So it might be in our best interest to do 8-8. I mean, most of our early stuff is colorless anyway, right? I think we're going to do 8-8. So, it's a good deck. I don't think it's super out of control powerful, but the things, like the pros of this deck are, we have removal, we have a great curve, we have efficient beaters, we have mana sinks in the automatons. We have some synergies, but not a lot. The cons are we don't have a great late game plan. We have a Sailback and a Lifecraft Awakening. We don't have a lot of ways to push damage through, but we do have ways to push damage through, right? We've got the defense, the Rampage can definitely push damage through. Like I said, the automatons as mana sinks can just finish an opponent off who's taken some early damage. Gear Smasher, you can just start throwing artifacts at the opponent if you've gotten to them to a certain point. Bandar kind of lets you push damage through if you put the counters on a guy and they can't block well. So Torch Gauntlet lets you push some damage through. So we have some ways to push damage through. I guess we just don't have a lot of evasion is an issue that could definitely come up with this deck. But regardless, I definitely think this deck is satisfactory. So we'll run it like this, and we'll see you round 1.